Welcome to Modern Musings, conversations with the maiden, mother, and crone, looking at ourselves and the world through the lens of the 21st century. Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Amber Jones, and I'm here with Cindy Murray and Kristen Blakely.
Hello.
Howdy.
And we're back at it this week, and we're talking about last-minute, budget-friendly travel tips, because we all love to travel. That's like our favorite thing to do.
That's why I'm a
Really
travel
is.
agent.
Yep, is travel. And it's summertime, so, we got to get at least one travel episode in there.
Right.
And I know we've talked about, like, if you go back through our catalog of episodes, we've talked about every kind of travel you can possibly talk about, from literary travel destinations,
I forgot about that
traveling
one.
on, like, a diet.
Oh, yeah.
So, it just so happens that I'm back in the summer and traveling and on a diet. Ha, 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 ha. So, it just so happens that I am back here and it's summertime and I'm about to be traveling, going down to Galveston, and I'm on a diet. A summer-long adventure away from sugar.
Ah,
Oh, yeah.
and it's a road trip.
Yes.
Oh, that makes it hard.
That's gonna be tough.
See, I think it makes it easy
Oh,
when
really?
it's a road trip because you can't take food on an airplane with you.
That's true. But
But you can take it on a road trip.
Exactly.
but see,
That's what
like,
makes it easy.
But you can bring the bad stuff.
I know you can make good choices too.
Well,
It
that is
depends
true.
on what you choose to choose.
But
That is true.
like Buc-ee's has some very good sugar-free.
Oh, they do. But you got to be
Friendly.
careful how many of those sugar-free chocolates you eat, because they
Oh no, I'm
They
not
make-
talking about sugar-free chocolate. I'm talking about their cheese and meat cups.
oh yeah, those are
and
good
their
too.
salads.
Uh-huh.
are
But
good
their
too.
sugar-free chocolate will make you have to take
I don't
lots
really
of
think they're
pit
budget
stops.
friendly. So
That is not
yeah,
budget
that's
Buc-ee's
friendly.
is not
what
really.
I'm bringing to the table is how
So-
to combat the convenience.
Okay, so
store.
budget friendly, honestly, would be like going to Winco, which is a very budget friendly grocery store,
Yes.
and getting some cheeses and meats and cutting them up. And
And
I've
having a
actually
little
done
cooler, yeah.
done this before for like a party and stuff. Gotten some cheeses, charcuterie things from Winco,
Mm-hmm.
cheeses and meats, and cut them up, and veggies.
Mhm.
And that is a good,
Yeah.
very
Pickles,
budget-friendly
yummy.
thing if
Something
you're going to pack.
that just takes you maybe 20 minutes of preparation can save you $20 to $200.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
So, last time we went on a little road trip, very recently this summer, we went on a little road trip, and I asked Scott, do you want to take the little cooler? I know we're only going for like a couple of days, and it's only a 4-hour drive.
Right.
And I was like, do you want to take the little cooler and just put some drinks in there?
Mhm.
And then he was like, no, I don't need it. It's a short trip. And I was like, okay, yeah, you're right. We stopped and bought something at every convenience store. And literally when we
it
got
adds up.
when we got to town, we ended up having to go to buy water
Because you didn't have water with
because
you.
we didn't
Yep.
have any water to drink. And I was like, not really going to drink the water out of the faucet in the bathroom in the hotel, right?
Blech. Yeah.
So, we left with our drinks. Like, I had a coffee cup and my water drink, and he had his water drink, but it didn't last us the
Right.
whole
Water
trip.
at the convenience stores can get
Kind of
expensive.
Yes.
yeah. And even the snacks too, because if you think like, oh, I'll just bring one snack, you still probably are gonna want to buy stuff in the convenience store.
Right. I did. I brought snacks, and I still
You
bought
still
stuff
bought
at the
stuff in the
store.
convenience
Well, yeah,
I did.
especially if you stop at Buc-ee's, you're not
Yeah.
getting out
I
of
didn't
there for
stop
like
at
less than
Buc-ee's, but-
$70.
Exactly.
But I did stop at a Travel America.
Blasphemy.
yeah.
Who cares
Well-
about Travel America?
Well, there wasn't a Buc-ee's on
I
the
know,
way.
I know. I'm kidding.
was.
Oh,
But
there
we didn't
was, but we
stop
passed.
at it.
We didn't
Yeah.
stop there. That was like 5 minutes away from the house. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to be going down to Galveston, and
You
there's
will
at
have-
least 3 Buc-ee's
Oh, right,
that
right,
we're going
right.
to pass on
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have to stop at all of them. No.
3. I thought there was only 2.
Uh,
Texas City and
Waco? Do you
Madisonville.
pass through Waco?
Madison.
Oh, do you go
Yeah,
through
there's one
Waco?
in Waco too.
Oh,
yeah.
so if you're
Oh,
going,
man, that-
three.
okay,
That's
yeah,
right.
if you're leaving
Hey,
from Fort Worth,
you know,
there might be
don't
three.
talk to me about like where
Where the
Buc-ee's are at.
Buc-ee's
I
are,
know
she
where all
knows.
of the Buc-ee's are
Yeah.
at. Okay.
Mhm.
My husband is a big fan of the Beaver.
Okay.
So we must stop. No matter how much water and whatever we pack, because I always pack the water. We will be stopping at Buc-ee's
Well,
because he
they
has
have
to
good
have those
bathrooms.
travel beaver nuggets.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Like he has to buy his weight in beaver nuggets no matter
Yeah.
what we do.
So that's like your souvenir on the road trip. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my budget friendly thing was bring a little cooler. Yes, it's only 4 hours, but it's cheaper if you already have the bottled water at home or you already have the ice
Well,
in your
it's-
freezer.
You know what's
Um,
even cheaper is getting gallons of water.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
it's not really.
That's
like,
actually what we got at the convenience store. We got 2 of those. And
But the
then
convenience store is very expensive.
yeah,
too.
I'm sure it cost us like $2.50
When you
instead
could pay
of
like
a
a
dollar.
dollar at the
Yeah.
grocery
Yeah.
store or whatever.
And
yeah.
so I think it all just stems from, there's that. And then like buy it a little bit bigger. Normally I just have like one of those 20 packs of water.
Right.
And I like to have one of those on the trip.
Right.
And the
Well, it's
other
always
thing
good to
too
have those,
is
yeah.
just having like the drinks. Like I know that Scott is going to want to drink a Coke. He drinks a soda every day just like I drink coffee every day. And if it's something that you're going to do every day and you always have it at home, bring it with you because
That's-
Yeah, I do that
otherwise
too.
you're going to
I
buy
mean,
it because every time we go on a road trip
like what they're like $3 for like a soda thing,
and I'm like
and a water.
he
$3.
bought some bottled soda at the convenience store and he came back out of the car and he had 2 of them and I was like, oh, one for me, and he goes, no, it's just cheaper to buy 2. Well, it wasn't really cheaper, but there was like some deal
like
of
2 for $2
buy two,
or
yeah.
whatever. Buy
yeah,
2
it was
get
2 for $5 for the 20 ounce or 16 ounce soda thing.
uh-huh.
And I was
And
like,
that's
dang, we could have
expensive.
just brought a 24 pack of sodas.
Right. Right.
For
Yeah,
that, and
for
then I
$5.
realized, and then I told him, I was like, "See, we should have brought the sodas." We thought we didn't need them, but he could have had, 3 or 4 sodas,
Right.
from
Right.
home that we had
Yeah.
already paid for.
I didn't bring the
And a little
sodas, but I
cooler
do
is
like.
good investment.
yeah,
I like to have the lemon in my Coke Zeros,
yeah.
and so I always take a little Ziploc baggie of pre-cut lemons.
And we
with
did
me.
that.
Yeah.
I brought the lemon and the lime and a little cutting, I think a paper plate and a
yeah.
knife.
I had a knife also.
Yeah, so that
and a
we could
paper
cut
plate.
them in a Ziploc bag to store them, and a little lunch bag cooler. I just didn't bring anything else.
That was what mine was. I
like,
just had
"Oh,
that
why
little.
didn't I listen to my instincts?
I had the little lunch bag cooler, and I had my lemon was already cut up in the Ziploc bag, but I also had some fruit that was going to go bad here at the house. I had cherries and strawberries, so I just prepped them. They're all washed, and I put them in,
nice.
and I put
That's a
those
good
in there.
idea.
And those were a nice, handy little snack to eat in the car, or
In the
what I
hotel.
like to do. I do like snacks in the car, but I also like snacks at the hotel in the evening after I come back, from dinner or whatever. I like to have a little bedtime snack or whatever, and so I usually always bring that as well, so that I'm not going to buy something to eat for that.
Well, my big thing is coffee.
Oh yeah.
Okay? And I like cold coffee. And you go to Starbucks and get like a cold brew, it's going to cost like $5 every
Right.
time you get it. So, y'all went on the road trip with me to Marfa a few years ago, and I brought like 2 big mason jars
Yeah, I
full of
remember that,
coffee.
yeah.
coffee,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and had my little cooler
Yeah.
in the back seat with me full of snacks and coffee.
Right.
Yeah.
I
And
will.
protein drinks.
I will sometimes also bring like K-Pods if I know that, like if I know the hotel we're going to has a Keurig or something, I'll bring K-Pods so that I can have coffee in the room. And that was the other thing that I had in my little cooler. I like to make coffee in my room, but I like my own creamer. I don't want the sweetened creamer and sugar and all that stuff that they provide at the hotel. So I have a little jar. It's actually like a bike water bottle. It's a small one, and I fill it up with my sugar-free creamer that I use here at the house, and I just take that with me. And then I can have the coffee that I like, and I'm not having to go to a Starbucks or something like that
Yeah.
to go get a coffee.
Oh, I'm trying to remember where we went on some kind of trip, and there was like no coffee in the hotel.
Yeah.
And in order
I
to
actually
get coffee, you had to go like somewhere and spend really expensive money on
right.
coffee.
Well, that's this
and it was
hotel.
like
That hotel that
such
we
an
were at,
effort.
I had a Keurig in in the hotel room,
Uh-huh.
but it didn't work. It
Aw.
malfunctioned. It probably needed to be cleaned or something because I put the K-Pod in there and filled it with the cup of water, and like maybe an inch of water came out of it, and that was it.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, and so I didn't have my coffee. So until we went to breakfast, so there was that. But yeah, I think that's a good thing to I always try to have snacks and
Yeah.
drinks in the car. And I usually bring my own sodas too because they're cheaper, but I also knew that they had Sonic, and we've talked about my addiction to Sonic drinks. So I did I was just looking forward to the Sonic drinks instead. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so what else? I'm trying to think of some other. I actually was thinking about some things like hotel saving on your hotel and stuff. So if you're going to somewhere and you want to save a little money on the hotel, try looking at hotel rooms that are outside the big touristy districts.
Yeah, that's
Because-
a good one right
because
there.
they're often a lot cheaper, and you can just drive or walk or take public transportation to the location that you want to go to, and that will really, I mean, it's sometimes dramatically cheaper. And if you want to further save on that food thing, book a hotel that has a kitchen or something like that, because then if you even make just breakfast, or it doesn't even have to have a kitchen, you could bring your own cold cereal. If it has a fridge, you could bring milk and bring some cold cereal and have the cold cereal for breakfast. If it has a microwave, you can make oatmeal. You can buy those little Jimmy Dean, I think it's Jimmy Dean, the little eggs. You crack the egg and dump
Yeah,
it
the
in it.
breakfast
yeah,
Yes.
it's
yeah.
called
The little
crack an
breakfast
egg
cups,
or
yeah.
something like that.
And those are a cheap way to have your breakfast. And like if you go eat breakfast at a restaurant, you're gonna spend $15 to $20,
And that cuts into your activity time too.
It
Because I
does.
think that was one of the other things, like when you're in a hotel that doesn't have like the food and the coffee supply,
Right.
that you're having to go seek it somewhere else, it takes time.
It does. And I go on my trips with the intent or the intention of trying to sample. I'm a foodie, so I want to eat food in a lot of different places. I don't necessarily want to eat home food. I don't want to have to cook, but I will do that where I have like one or two breakfasts, on a longer trip, where I just prepare something in advance, that I can eat, and then just that way I can really enjoy the ones that I do go out to a restaurant for. Likewise, you could do the same thing with lunches. You can buy lunch meat. You've got your little cooler. Get you some bread. Get you some lunch meat. You know, bring a little bit of your condiments or whatever, and a bag of chips, and you're good to go for a quick lunch. You can even bring some reusable sandwich bags or something, and you can make your lunch in the hotel room, put it in your little sandwich bag, and carry it with you. You've got a little sack lunch that you made. It's cheaper than buying a Lunchable or buying lunch at a location or something like that while you're hiking or visiting a theme park or whatever, so you can do that very well, because sometimes that food gets really expensive.
Peanut
And
butter and jelly and a loaf of bread
right,
goes a long way. I know my ex-husband and I, we uh took a road trip down to Galveston to visit his brother, and we only had enough money for gas. We
Mhm.
didn't have enough money for a hotel. We didn't have enough money for food.
Mhm.
We slept in the car
Oh wow.
Mm.
on the public beach.
Okay.
Like we only had enough money. I think we had enough money to eat at like one restaurant. Like we stopped at Walmart on the way and we got a loaf of bread, peanut butter, and jelly,
Uh-huh.
and like a couple of other things,
Mhm.
and that was it. Like we only went for like 24, like a day and a half. We slept in the
Mhm.
car. We ate peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Mhm.
Right. And
It
there,
was the
you know,
destination that was important. Was
Right.
going to see the family
Yeah,
member.
going to
Yeah.
see his
Right.
brother. Yeah.
It
right.
wasn't about getting a fancy hotel. And I think
No.
that's something too. Sometimes we go like to go on a vacation and then we feel like we have to have these like ultra luxurious accommodations and then we don't even spend that much time in the room.
Yeah,
Like remember
that's
when
one
we
thing
went
that
to
trips
Vegas?
people up.
We went to Vegas and we were in that beautiful hotel room and we
Yeah.
hardly spent
Right.
time in it.
Right.
Well,
right.
Yeah.
no, that
But-
one was more of like we wanted, it was a bachelorette. Like
Yeah, it was a
Right,
girls'
right.
trip
It was like
still, but yeah.
And we got a really good deal on that room
Yeah.
too. So
Now
yeah.
our trip to Marfa though, it was kind of like the hotels were part of it,
yeah.
but I feel like we could have spent more time in like the Big Bend hotel with like all of like
'Cause
the
that one was
skylight.
cool.
And yeah, that
Right,
one
right,
was
right.
like really cool. Like I feel like if we ever went back, that like staying there only.
See, I could just
Right.
go there and
Yeah.
just stay there.
Oh,
and
yeah.
not do
Exactly.
anything else that
Absolutely,
whole
yeah.
weekend. Just stay in that little.
Well, and
Mhm.
one of
that
the-
was like the gem of the entire trip.
One of my tips is to prioritize free attractions
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
And that Marfa
Oh,
trip
that
was
gonna
what
be
made me
one of
think
my
of it
tips.
because there's always a lot of really cool free things to do in towns besides shopping, which is not
Yeah.
free.
Museums,
Sometimes
parks.
museums, parks, beaches, historic
Landmarks. Yeah.
yeah. But so like Ashley and I went recently to Baltimore and Philadelphia. Well, the trip was to Baltimore to go to her sister's wedding. And so we went up there and we thought, we're like really close to a lot of American history there.
Mhm.
Let's look at all the things that we can go do in that area. And we looked at, we were like, okay, we're in Baltimore and it's like, hour and a half something drive to Philadelphia. Let's go to Philadelphia for a day. So we actually flew into Baltimore and then took our rental car and drove to Philadelphia. And there was a ton of things there that we could go do, just right there that were free, like the historical things like the Liberty Bell and things like that, So we didn't get to go in because the government was shut down at the time, but we got to see the original presidential house where George Washington lived when he became the president. We saw the Liberty Bell through the window. What is the building across right there to? I think it was where they had the First Continental Congress, and but they have this whole Freedom Square thing, and there's all these things right there. And our hotel was next door to the Philadelphia Mint. We didn't get to go inside the Mint, but it was like, oh wow, we saw the Philadelphia Mint, and there probably were a lot more things that we could have done, but we just had a very short time there. So, check that out because there's often public festivals, historic districts, beaches, all kinds of things, going hiking, things like that. So, I think that's a really great one is to, add as many of those into your, in fact, on this trip that we went to Arkansas recently, I don't think we had any paid attractions, did we? Except for the one on the way there.
Yeah, we went to that one museum. Yeah.
The one museum in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And
I consider that part of the trip
it
because
is part of the trip. But then
on the ride there.
once we got to Arkansas, everything that we did was free.
Besides
stuff.
eating, yeah.
Yeah, besides eating. So I thought that was really good. And trips don't have to be like your hotels. If you have loyalty points, those are a great way. Stick to one chain or one or two chains of hotels and build up those loyalty points. Because if you're a member, even if you don't have points enough to get a free room, you still get discounted rates often. They often give free Wi-Fi or let you do a late check-in or something like that. So that's another way. I like to have that free Wi-Fi. That's pretty nice. What else? Did you have a whole list over there, Amber? Or
Oh, definitely. I want to piggyback on like the finding the free things to do. Like whenever Jason and I went up to Iowa around New Year's, I got on Atlas Obscura and looked at like all of like the unique free things to do.
Yeah.
In the area, like visiting the world's largest concrete gnome, and stuff like that. So that one actually cost a little bit of money. That one cost like $5, but it was cheaper than I thought it would be. It was on like the University of Iowa's campus, so they had like a lot of other things came with that. $5, a butterfly garden, other garden things, even though it was winter, like a bunch of cool decorated Christmas trees that we saw. So, and definitely we utilized like the University of Iowa like area and we also tried to hit up every state capitol along the way and visit the outside of the Capitol buildings and everything like that.
Oh, that's cool. Mom has a friend who is doing that in Texas. She does like the
state courthouses. Yeah.
Is it the courthouse?
Yeah,
okay.
It's the state courthouses. Yeah.
She likes to go and take a picture. And it's always kind of fun because like when we would take a road trip with her, sometimes we'd take some little detours so she could
Get this
some.
one little county out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to like visit every state capital. That would be really cool.
That would be cool.
Let me see some other tips I have because like you're a travel agent, so you're like coming up with all these tips. Let me see. Consider taking like a short, like 5 to 6 hour road trip instead of going on like a huge like flying in the airplane destination. Like you can have more flexibility that way, and gas is often cheaper than airfare, I've found.
Yes.
Even
when gas prices are high.
Yeah, like even like Jason and I were talking about like doing like an East Coast time, like a trip or whatever. It would still be cheaper to just go up the East Coast. It'd be a longer way, but
the traveling, the car travel is part of the trip. Like Kristen was saying,
that's my favorite thing. Really,
that is my favorite part too.
Like I don't like flying in the airplane. I'd rather drive. Like I'm gonna go up to Boston, and I'd honestly rather drive.
If you do want to fly, though, there are some tips for keeping that cost under control too. Fly on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Saturday whenever you can.
That was also in my tips.
Yeah, that's because the rates are cheaper, and the hotel rates are often lower Sunday through Thursday. So avoid any kind of Friday departures and Sunday returns because that's when everybody's trying to fly, and that's the most expensive. And here's one that a lot of people don't think about. Be flexible with your airports. Like here in the Dallas area, we have two major I say major airports. There's a major airport and a middle-sized airport, and you can often get better rates by checking flights at one or the other of the airport. Same thing with like Washington D.C. There's Reagan International
LA has
and Dulles. Yeah, LA has lots of regional airports. So check some of the other airports because it might be cheaper to fly into a smaller regional airport and rent a car to go back to where you want to go. Just like we flew into Baltimore and then drove to Philly. I think if we'd have flown to Philly, I think the flight would have been more expensive, especially if we spent some time in Philly and then spent some time in Baltimore. And I've actually had clients that opted to drive down to Austin from the Dallas area to fly out of Austin because they could get a direct flight out of Austin to their destination that was cheaper than the direct flight out of Dallas. So, and it's like what, a 4 hour drive or something like that. So,
Oh yeah, and if you're flying an airline that you get a free carry-on, then consider doing like the free carry-ons instead of checking your
instead
baggage.
of checking
and
your
having to
badge,
pay
because
for it.
a lot of them make you pay for the baggage. Yep.
And less risk of baggage issues. Oh man, when I first got that like a really pretty Betsy Johnson luggage, I was like so uptight about checking it and everything like that. And I remember having like a Hulk out meltdown moment the first time Jason and I ever flew together or we went up to Idaho, and I deliberately took my carry-on so I wouldn't have to check it, and I didn't want it to get all scratched up and stuff like that. And then they made me check it because they said it was quote unquote too big, even though it wasn't, because I saw other people with bigger. The baggage police made me check it, and I was so mad. I like stalked onto the plane, and Jason was like, "Calm down."
Like my
Well, I've-
suitcase is gonna get scratched.
I've had suitcases.
Now it's all scratched, but
I've had suitcases damaged on flights. I got a suitcase as a graduation present when I graduated high school, and about 6 months later, maybe, I had to fly to Austin to take the state board exam for cosmetology, and I checked my bag, and they destroyed my bag. And it was like I had
You
only
just
had
got
it
it,
for a few
yeah.
months. Yeah. And so it's like, ooh, yeah. So, yeah. A lot of people do the carry-on only thing if they can, and they'll wear the same clothes or wash them out or, whatever, because a lot of times hotels have a laundry that you can use and wash your laundry, and then you're not having to carry as much stuff either. So that's always a good option.
definitely.
And you also want to think about traveling in the off season or the what they call the shoulder season. So
That was
like
another thing on my list.
going to the beach is generally something people do in the summertime. So if you go in May or September instead, you're in that shoulder season. Same thing with cruises; those are the shoulder
Because
season.
it's
for
still hot
cruises.
outside, but the kids aren't in school.
The kids
so
aren't in school,
People
so-
aren't really
right.
traveling as much, so they're like,
Right.
"Come travel,
and so
please."
a lot of times it's a
Yeah.
lot cheaper. And then like mountain destinations are cheaper in the late spring or the early fall for like skiing and stuff like that. So
I guess the only other tip that I really have, since you've said most of them, would be like set a daily budget. Like, make sure set aside like how much you want to spend on food a day, how much you want to spend on lodging and activities and transportation, and kind of work around that.
right. That's a really great tip, and that's one that I find when clients contact me and want to go on a trip, they often have no idea how much they want to spend, and I have to work with them to come up with that budget. And that's that's really the first place you should start is what is my budget?
Mm-hmm.
How much money do I have to travel? And then set your destination and your mode of transportation and all of that stuff from there. Not picking the destination and then asking yourself, can I afford this?
Yes.
So it really does work best to go at it the other way around.
Definitely, definitely. I think that that's some really good tips. So, guys, like to recap, uh, look for cheap transportation. Uh, Sometimes don't check your luggage, do a carry on, or go within like a driving distance because
Yes.
gas is usually cheaper.
And
Right.
pack your drinks and snacks.
If you do less
Pack
than
drinks and
500
snacks.
miles, less than 500 miles is a very doable car trip.
Yeah. Look for free activities and travel on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays
Mhm.
because you can get good hotel deals and good flight deals on those
Right.
days.
Yep.
And definitely, like, what's the rule of thumb, like, when you're doing flights, like, ahead of time? I know this is last minute, but how far out do you want to book a flight
Well,
if you're, like,
And how
planning
far
on some...
can you? 'Cause
Well,
I think they only
that's the big
post-
key because most
Yeah.
airlines do not publish their flight information or their upcoming flights more than 9 to 12 months out. Most of them are 9 months. So if you're looking to travel further than that, you're not going to be able to book your flights.
What's the sweet spot to book a flight? Like a really good budget?
It's a big question. And the thing is that it changes because flight pricing is very volatile.
Supply and demand.
It is it's about supply and demand. So if flights are not filling up, they will discount the prices to get people to book. If the flight is getting full, they will raise the prices because they know that people will buy them anyway. So just start looking and watch the trend.
Yeah.
That 9 months is the first date. Sometimes you can get the cheapest price there. That's usually the cheapest rates you will get on a cruise.
9 months out?
9 months to a year out. I say look about a year out if you can, and you have time to pay it off as well. Flights, of
So
course, you
very
have to pay
true.
for up front. But if you start looking 9 months out and then check it again, maybe in 6 months out or something like that, and if you're really, really doing last minute, just pay attention. Just kind of watch those things, and maybe don't be so set on your destination. Look to see where you can get a flight to inexpensively.
Yeah.
Budget friendly.
Google has a great thing. It's google.com/flights. And
I look at that all the time.
and you can look at a map and it will show you where all the cheap flights are, and you can determine that.
I was going to say, too, like, if you're okay with last minute traveling, but you're still trying to stay, like, budget friendly, but it's okay if it's kind of sort of last minute, Amber, if you already know where you want to go, on the flip side of that coin is just checking frequently for the flights to that place.
Right.
There's also a Facebook group, I believe.
In various dates. 'Cause then if
or
you see
like a
it-
website called Cheap Flights.
Oh, okay.
And they will often send, like, you can sign up for their email list, and they'll send out email notifications for cheap flights, like $99 flight to here,
Right.
which is pretty cheap.
Well, and if you have like Southwest Airlines would often do these little want to get away deals that are
Yeah.
really, really inexpensive.
Carnival does that, too.
And they'll say, they'll advertise them, it's $49 to fly to here or whatever. $99 round trip to fly to here. And those are great deals. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Very, very nice.
good deal.
So what are we talking about next week?
So next week, we are talking about finding your voice.
Okay.
Oh, nice. So do you just like reach down inside yourself and pull it out? You know, like
Ah.
exactly
Yeah.
Oh,
like
thank you,
Ariel.
Ariel.
Yes.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
So next week we're going to be finding our voice. All right,
Okay.
sounds good.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. I'm
Okay.
looking forward to it. So, if you have any travel tips that you want to share with us, hit us up on our Facebook group, Modern Musings MMC Chat. Check out our website. Send us an email, info@modernmusings.net. And if you feel like there's something that we left out, then yeah, send us an email and like us and share us and get the word out about this podcast. We're Modern Musings and we talk a little bit about everything.
Yes, we do.
And we will talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.